She gave daily kindness to an elderly man, then 4 bodyguards revealed his incredible secret. Sarah's feet barely touched the ground as she hustled through the familiar streets of her suburban neighborhood. Her heart raced as she balanced a tray of steaming dishes on one hand while holding her daughter Lily's tiny hand in the other. The sun dipped low, casting a golden glow on the modest homes lined up like a row of friendly neighbors. In her mid-30s, Sarah was a spirited single mom, a dreamer who believed in hard work. Even as fatigue weighed heavy on her shoulders after a long shift at the local diner, she was determined to provide a good life for Lily. Every day after work, Sarah made it a point to check on Mr. Thompson, her elderly neighbor. A retired war veteran, he had become her confidant. His warm voice filled with stories of the past soothed her weary soul. One day, while bringing him a steaming plate of meatloaf, his eyes lit up as he shared tales of bravery. It felt more like a sacred exchange rather than merely an act of kindness. He'd thank her profusely, but truthfully, she was the one who walked away feeling special. Little moments like these filled Sarah's spirit with hope and light. But that evening, as Sarah approached Mr. Thompson's house, her heart sank. Outside stood 4 imposing figures. Clad in dark suits, they surrounded Mr. Thompson like a fortress of menacing shadows. Confusion knotted in her stomach, a sharp contrast to the warmth she felt during their usual visits. What was happening? This wasn't he, the gentle old man she had come to know and admire. Curiosity lured her closer. Whispers of a different kind of intrigue permeated the neighborhood. Rumors began swirling he was more than just an old veteran. He had a past steeped in secrets, as a covert operative with connections and wealth. Everyone's whispers turned into a tide of envy and suspicion, and suddenly, her relationship with Mr. Thompson felt scrutinized under a magnifying glass. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Sarah's heart raced at the thought of accepting help from Mr. Thompson in the form of money or connections. It could secure a better life for her and Lily, who deserved the world. But pride pulled her back. What would the neighbors think? The tension became unbearable. Mr. Thompson, with that unwavering gaze of understanding, began confiding in Sarah about his sacrifices, and their shared bond deepened. But just as hope flickered in the air, a sudden scream pierced the stillness, followed by a rush of chaotic movement. The bodyguards leaped into action, their eyes scanning for a threat. A chill ran down Sarah's spine. Lily's tiny hand squeezed hers tightly. Standing in the shadows, surrounded by forces beyond her comprehension, Sarah now realized that her struggles and bonds were more pivotal than mere coincidences. As danger encroached upon their small world, she faced the ultimate choice: would she rise above her doubts, or would the walls of social class and prejudice push her back? The line separating desperation from connection blurred, and the stakes were higher than ever. Adrenaline coursed through Sarah as she watched the bodyguards shift into protective stances around Mr. Thompson. The air felt thick, filled with a palpable tension that made her stomach churn. What was happening? Was there truly a threat to the man who had shared so many stories and moments of connection with her? "Stay close, sweetheart," she whispered to Lily, tugging her daughter closer to her side. The young girl tugged her mother's hand, eyes wide and nervous. Sarah could practically feel Lily's heartbeat matching her own, the innocence and confusion mirrored in her little face. "Mr. Thompson." Sarah called, her voice breaking through the chaos. "What is going on?" The bodyguards turned their eyes toward her, their expressions unreadable. Mr. Thompson finally spoke, his voice steady despite the tumultuous scene. "Sarah, it's all right. Just a precaution." But Sarah could hear the underlying tension in his words. This was no ordinary precaution, and she felt her heart sink. She had always sensed that there was more to Mr. Thompson than met the eye, but this revealed a side of him she had never imagined. A world of secrets, surrounded by a wall of protection. Suddenly, a woman rushed onto the scene, her face flushed and frantic. "What did you do?" she yelled, pointing a finger at Mr. Thompson, her voice tinged with anger. "You promised this would stay hidden." "Carol, this isn't the time," Mr. Thompson replied sharply, eyes narrowing. Sarah's mind raced. Who was this woman? And what secrets did Mr. Thompson harbor? "Mommy, I'm scared," Lily whimpered, her tiny voice barely audible. "I know, baby. Just hold my hand," Sarah said, squeezing Lily's small fingers reassuringly. There was a thump as two of the bodyguards began scanning the perimeter. Tension in their muscles was evident, manifesting in their fierce protectiveness over Mr. Thompson. "Is it safe for us to be here?" Sarah asked, her heart hammering louder than before. The everyday worries of bills and her job suddenly seemed trivial compared to the chaos swirling around her. Mr. Thompson took a deep breath, his gaze shifting toward her. "You need to trust me, Sarah. This concerns you and Lily more than you know." What did that mean? Her thoughts spun like a cyclone. Every act of kindness she had shown seemed to be coming back at her with unforeseen consequences. Their connection had always felt significant, but now it hummed with urgency. Before she could respond, there was a loud crash from the back of the house. The bodyguards drew closer, forming a tighter circle. A man stumbled into view, looking wild-eyed and disheveled. "It's about to go down. You need to leave, now." Panic erupted in Sarah. Her instincts told her to flee, to protect Lily at all costs. But when she looked at Mr. Thompson, she saw the strength in his eyes. Part of her wanted to run, but another part, maybe the stronger part, wanted to fight for the man who had never ceased to give her hope. "Mr. Thompson, I can help. Just tell me what to do," she declared, surprising herself with those words. His eyes softened, gratitude washing over his features, yet fear lingered. "You have no idea what you're saying. This isn't a game. Neither is my life." She shot back, unflinching. "Neither is Lily's." As they locked eyes, Sarah felt a spark of something between them, maybe trust, maybe desperation. But what she didn't expect was the sudden eruption of danger as the chaos crescendoed around them. Would she really put herself on the line for an elderly man whose past could upend everything she held dear? The ground beneath her feet felt unsteady, and for the first time, she sensed that their lives were intertwined in a way far deeper than simple kindness. But where would it lead them? The air grew ice-cold, and as she prepared to face whatever came next, the shadows of uncertainty loomed large. The sound of shattering glass echoed through the house, slicing through the tension like a knife. Sarah's heart raced as she instinctively pulled Lily closer, feeling the little girl's shaky breaths against her side. They were standing on a precipice, and beneath them was a world they hadn't known existed. "Get behind me," one of the bodyguards ordered, stepping forward, his expression now fierce and protective. Mr. Thompson remained calm, his back straightening as he faced the chaos head-on. "What's happening?" Sarah urged, desperation seeping into her voice. The question was more than just about the commotion outside, it was about the abrupt change in their lives, in her safety and in that of her daughter. "It's too late to explain," Mr. Thompson finally snapped, frustration cracking his usual warm demeanor. "I need you to trust me, both of you. Whatever you do, don't move until I say so." The urgency in his command hung heavily in the air. Sarah's eyes darted around, trying to catch sight of the shadowy figure that had burst through. In the commotion, Lily tightened her grip even more, her little fingers trembling in fear. Suddenly, Carol's voice rang out again, sharper this time. "You think this is over? You can't hide forever, Thompson. They'll come for you." The statement sent a chill up Sarah's spine. The menacing tone implied danger that went beyond the immediate chaos. Who were they? Her heart raced as she was hit with the realization that this might not just be about Mr. Thompson at all. Just then, the front door flew open, and another figure bolted in, a tall man clad in dark clothing, face obscured by shadows. The bodyguards tensed, readying themselves. Sarah felt Lily's body press harder against hers, as if seeking refuge in her mother's shield. "Listen to me." Mr. Thompson's voice thundered, loud and unyielding. "This is not what it seems. Stay by me, Sarah. You have to believe in me." A flicker of doubt shot through her, but she pushed it back. She had come to trust him over their time together. His stories and kindness had built a bridge of connection. But the stakes had never felt this high. Why? She found herself asking, tears pricking at her eyes under the weight of the moment. Why should I trust you now? A look of pain crossed Mr. Thompson's face, and for the first time, she saw the vast history etched in his features. Because it isn't just my life at stake anymore, it's yours. And Lily's. A crackle of energy in the room shifted the dynamics, making the air charged with the urgency of decisions yet to be made. In that instant, Sarah's mind flashed back to all those moments, the laughter, the warmth, the hidden sorrow in his eyes. Had all of it been leading to this very moment? Before she could engage with those thoughts, the dark figure pushed his way forward. "Thompson. You can't run away from your past. It's coming to collect." With a sudden movement, Mr. Thompson stepped in front of Sarah and Lily, his body a barrier of protection, his voice firm. "Then I'll face it. And I'll protect what's mine." Sarah felt a swell of pride and fear simultaneously. What had she gotten them into? She narrowed her eyes, driven by an emerging resolve. What are we waiting for then? If we need to stick together, let us show them we won't back down. For the first time in that harrowing moment, she sensed a shift, a flicker of hope igniting within her. Could they truly stand united against whatever was waiting at their doorstep? But how far would they have to go? As the tension escalated, another loud crack echoed from the back of the house, calling into question every decision she had ever made. This was just the beginning. As the shadows loomed closer, she knew they needed a plan, a way to navigate this uncharted territory. Uncertainty clung to her like a heavy raincoat, restricting movement. But the fires of determination flickered to life as she steeled herself for whatever lay ahead. What new truths would be unveiled, and how would they change everything she thought she knew? The air crackled, thick with tension, as shadows crept closer. Sarah's heart thumped loudly in her chest, each beat a reminder of the stakes at hand. She felt the thrill of vulnerability and an unfamiliar sense of power. They were united against the chaos threatening to invade their lives. "Lily, stay behind me," she whispered urgently, but the little girl didn't need much encouragement. She clung to Sarah like a lifeline, her eyes wide with fear. Mr. Thompson's posture radiated an almost magnetic strength. The dark figure, he was still a looming presence, but Sarah found herself inching closer to Thompson. What was in his past that could draw such a formidable threat? "Thompson." The shadowy figure called out again, voice dripping with malice. "You think you're just going to walk away from this? You're mistaken. Enough." Thompson snapped, his composure unwavering. "I won't let you intimidate us." Then, without warning, the dim light flickered. Sarah felt the electric energy shift the mood in the room. The bodyguards shifted into defensive stances, muscles taut, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. It was as if every breath had stilled in anticipation of an inevitable explosion. "Who are you?" Sarah shouted, her voice ringing out louder than she intended. "What do you want?" The figure chuckled darkly, revealing a flash of a smirk in the shadows. "You'll find out soon enough," he taunted. "Mr. Thompson has some debts that require payment." "What are you talking about?" The desperation tinged Sarah's voice. She felt the ground of her reality shifting beneath her, and the uncertainty threatened to swallow her whole. "There's a price to be paid for safety, for freedom," the man hissed, taking a step closer. "And I'm here to collect." Sarah clenched her fists, emotions swirling inside her like a storm. She turned to Mr. Thompson, searching his face for answers. His eyes held something she couldn't decipher: regret, determination, fear. "Thompson," she started, holding his gaze with a fierce intensity. "What does he mean? What are we facing?" Before he could respond, the moment shattered. A loud crash echoed from the back of the house, followed by the shouts of men who stormed in, bursting through the remaining barriers that separated chaos from safety. "Get down!" one of the bodyguards shouted, leaping into action as the room erupted into panic. Time fractured into disjointed moments. Sarah could hear Lily's whimpers, the cries of the bodyguards, the growls of the intruders. But amidst the turmoil, what consumed her was a newfound clarity. She would defend Lily with everything she had, no matter the cost. "Move to the kitchen," she cried to the bodyguards. "It's the back exit." Thompson's expression hardened. "No. We can't run. Not this time. We face them together. That's the only way we'll survive." The choice weighed heavily on her. Running felt like safety, but standing her ground meant they would confront the truth, all of it. She glanced at Lily, who looked up at her, wide-eyed and trusting. "We stick together, then," Sarah said, feeling the truth of her words resonate. They could do this. They could face whatever awaited. But would it be the end, or simply a new beginning? As they prepared to confront the encroaching dangers, the door split open wider with a roar. The shadows flooded in like an incoming tide. And in that moment, she wondered how prepared were they for the reveal that would shake their world forever? The walls trembled as the first of the men stepped through, and just behind him, she caught sight of something, a symbol she recognized, one that threatened to unravel everything she thought she understood. What was she really stepping into? Would this battle be the key to a deeper mystery, or a trap that would ensnare them all? The intruder stepped into the room, and the air seemed to change. Shadows danced around him, sharper, more menacing. Sarah's heart raced as she took in the sight. The symbol hanging from the man's belt sent a wave of darkness washing over her. She recognized it from a newspaper article, a crime syndicate that had plagued the city for years. "Get away from her!" Thompson shouted, positioning himself protectively in front of Sarah and Lily. The bodyguards formed a tight circle around them, eyes narrowed, ready for a fight. Lily's grip on Sarah tightened. The little girl pressed her face against Sarah's shoulder, stifling her whimpers. Sarah could feel the tiny body trembling against her, and it fueled her resolve. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore, she was fighting for Lily, for their safety, for freedom. "Mr. Thompson," the lead intruder sneered, "how noble. But you know this won't end well for you. The debts you owe can't be settled with bravery." "Then why are we still talking?" Mr. Thompson said, voice steady but strained. "Let us end this." Without warning, all hell broke loose. The bodyguards lunged forward, colliding with the intruders in a cacophony of shouts and grunts. A flurry of bodies and fists erupted, and Sarah felt time collapse around her. Chaos ruled. "Sarah! Get Lily out of here!" Thompson's voice cut through the haze. He was holding his own against two attackers, standing his ground fiercely, but she saw how the numbers were working against him. "No!" she shouted back, refusing to abandon him. She wouldn't leave him to face the darkness alone. "I won't leave you." It was unthinkable, but she was with him now. They had formed a bond in this crisis, and she wasn't about to turn her back. She glanced at the small kitchen doorway. It was their only clear escape route. "Stay with me, Lily," she whispered, steadying her breath to mask her growing fear. Even with the battle raging around them, she needed to be strong. But as they moved slowly, trying to navigate through the chaos, she spotted something glinting on the ground near the doorway. A knife. It was close enough to reach, and before she could think twice, she darted to grab it. "Sarah, no!" Thompson yelled, but the warning came too late. She scooped it up, holding it tight as feelings of power surged through her. She felt ready, focused. Two intruders broke from the tussle and spotted her with the knife. Their eyes flared with fury. One charged at her, and she instinctively took a defensive stance, her heart pounding against her chest. "Stay back!" she shouted, arm outstretched, the blade glistening in the low light. The moment felt suspended in time, and for the first time, Sarah saw fear flash across the man's face. She was ready to protect Lily, but little did she know that the confrontation had larger implications. That symbol she recognized was no mere gang emblem, it spoke of something much darker, a tangled web of secrets that ran deeper than Thompson's past. Just then, one of the bodyguards threw an adversary aside, making way for Thompson, who rushed toward Sarah. "Get back!" he shouted in fierce urgency, but as he reached Sarah's side, she noticed something different in his expression. He glanced down at the knife, then locked eyes with her, his look shifting from determination to an undeniable desperation. "Let us take them together," he urged, hands clasping hers around the knife. "But keep the truth close to your heart. There's so much you don't know." Adrenaline coursed through her veins, mixing with fear and strength as their hands intertwined around the weapon. The fight was only beginning, but the weight of the secrets they were about to uncover loomed heavy. What was lurking in Thompson's past? And would they survive to face the unveiling of the truth together? Sarah felt the chill of uncertainty creeping in alongside the resolve, and she braced herself for what came next. The clash escalated around them, a whirl of bodies striking and grappling, faces twisted in determination and rage. Sarah could barely make sense of the chaos, but her focus was razor-sharp, her grip on the knife firm in Thompson's steadying hands. A bodyguard went down, but he quickly rolled back to his feet. "We need to move," he shouted, scanning the room for the rest of his team. "I'm not leaving him," Sarah said, her voice breaking through the noise. The sincerity in her heart poured into every word, mingling with the adrenaline. "Don't worry, we'll get through this," Thompson promised, though his eyes betrayed a flicker of doubt. He turned to face one of the intruders head-on, strong but vulnerable. Sarah felt the weight of the moment, they were both standing on a precipice. Suddenly, another intruder lunged at them, and Sarah's instincts kicked in. She pulled the knife back, then thrust it forward with all her might. The tip barely grazed the man's shoulder, cutting deep enough to draw a gasp and halt his advance. "Sarah, watch your back," Thompson shouted as he engaged another assailant. The roar of a body slamming into furniture shook her. Space around them shrank, but Sarah felt a strange clarity amidst the turmoil. "We can't let them win," she yelled, finding strength in her voice as she pushed forward, eyes darting for a way to outmaneuver the chaos. A flicker of light caught her attention. The kitchen was nearby. Perhaps they could use it for an advantage. Thompson took a punch to the jaw but stayed steady. "Sarah, the kitchen." "Go!" "Lily!" Sarah yelled, and there was no answer for a beat too long. Panic shot through her. She turned, searching frantically for the little girl in the haze of fighting bodies. Then she spotted her, crouched beneath the kitchen counter, staring wide-eyed, too scared to move. Her face was pale, trembling with fear. Everything froze as their eyes met. Sarah's heart ached in that instant. She had to get past the turmoil before it swallowed them whole. With a surge of purpose, she barreled toward the kitchen, blade still gripped tightly. "Stay here," she commanded Lily softly, pushing her back deeper into the corner for safety. The adversaries pressed closer, and Sarah's resolve hardened. She stood tall, knife poised, and shouted at the top of her lungs, "Stay away from my family." The words hung heavy in the air, a protective mantra. She didn't realize how fiercely those words cut through the chaos until one of the assailants faltered, glancing at his partner. In that second of hesitation, she saw an opening. She thrust the knife forward again, this time catching the second intruder flat-footed. The blade scored another victory, and the man stumbled back, shock etched across his face. Sarah. Thompson fought his way toward her, igniting a new wave of warmth inside her as he reached her side, finally brushing away her doubt and fear. But there was no time to celebrate. The remaining intruders regrouped, their eyes locking onto Sarah and Thompson, renewed focus shifting to them. The lead intruder snarled, "You have no idea what you've just done, do you?" "I've just protected my family," Thompson replied, voice steady as steel, pulling Sarah close. "And it's about to get worse for you." And with that, amidst the sounds of scuffling feet and heavy breaths, Sarah felt the tremor of revolution building within her. The truth was bursting to escape. What lay beyond the shadows? What else did Thompson hide within those haunted eyes? Then, with a fierce roar, the ground beneath them shuddered. This battle was far from over. Would they truly understand the stakes of protecting their own? The air, electrified with uncertainty, darkness was descending in ways none could predict. As the intruder stepped forward, something shifted in the shadows, and Sarah sensed the grip of something greater than herself. Would they all make it through this? The knife felt heavy in her palm. The lead intruder lunged forward, and in that instant, the world slowed down for Sarah. She could see the anger etched on his face, the glint of something dangerous in his eyes. Thompson stepped in front of her, his fists raised, but Sarah's heartbeat drowned out the sounds around her. She gripped the knife tighter, her palms slick with sweat. "Get back!" Thompson shouted, motioning Sarah to step aside. But she didn't move. In that split second, she saw an opening, a chance to act. With a flick of her wrist, she aimed the knife toward the intruder. But he was faster, evading her attack. The force of his response knocked Thompson off balance, sending him crashing into a nearby table. It splintered beneath him, but he quickly regained his footing. "Stay focused, Sarah," Thompson shouted, wincing as he wiped blood from the corner of his mouth. "I won't let you hurt them," she cried, her voice trembling with defiance. It filled her with courage. Behind the kitchen counter, Lily peered out, eyes wide with terror. For a moment, Sarah's heart ached for the innocent child, trapped in a nightmare. She couldn't bear to think what would happen if they failed. The lead intruder sneered, "You think you can protect them?" He waved to the others, rallying them to join him, and the room erupted in chaos once more. Thompson clenched his jaw as he fended off another attacker, trading blows at a breakneck pace. Sarah's instincts screamed. With her heart pounding like a drum, she slid past the fray, toward the kitchen counter where Lily was still hidden. "Lily," she called, soft yet fiercely protective. "You have to stay safe." The little girl nodded, tears shimmering in her eyes. For a moment, their connection broke through the tension. It was just them, mother and daughter, and that bond sparked an unexpected surge of strength inside Sarah. As the sounds of the fight escalated, Sarah caught her breath. She was tired, scared, and yet, she knew deep down that giving in was not an option. It was time to take a stand. Suddenly, she spotted a heavy glass vase on the kitchen counter, remnants of a home far removed from this horror. Without thinking, she grabbed it, feeling the solid weight in her hand. It wasn't a knife, but it could be a weapon. And it meant choice, a decision to fight back, to show that fear would not define their fate. "Let us break this down," Thompson said breathlessly as he dodged another punch, his eyes locking onto Sarah. "You need to listen to me carefully. Distract them, don't let them know your next move." The tension in the air crackled as Sarah steeled herself. "Okay," she responded, glancing back at Lily, who was still watching, frozen in place. She hurled the vase toward the nearest intruder, her aim true. It shattered with a sharp, beautiful sound, shards flying and distracting the men around. In the chaos, Thompson lunged forward, taking advantage of the moment. He tackled one of the intruders to the ground, fists flying. "Keep going," he shouted to Sarah. "We're running out of time." As more chaos unfolded, Sarah felt her resolve deepen. She wouldn't just be a passive participant in this fight, she would claim her power. Just as she prepared to advance, movement at the edge of her vision caught her attention. Another bodyguard, delayed in the skirmish, was rushing in. Relief washed over Sarah for a moment, but she could feel dread creeping back. Who was this man? And would he help them or complicate everything? The urgency of the moment propelled her forward. What they faced was becoming clearer, but would she be strong enough to handle the choices ahead? With her heart racing, Sarah braced herself, ready for whatever came next. The battlefield was still shifting, and so were the stakes. But with each breath, courage surged within her. What if this fight wasn't just for survival, but for something greater? As she faced the newcomer, the question loomed, would they find an unexpected ally or another adversary in disguise? As Sarah turned to face the newcomer, the room buzzed with tension. The air felt thick, like a powerful storm brewing overhead. She could barely make out the figure amid the chaos. He wore a dark suit, the kind that seemed to whisper authority. Something about his poise stirred both fear and hope within her. "Get back!" the man barked, his voice steady and commanding. But was he here to help or hinder? Thompson was locked in a fierce struggle, grappling with two intruders simultaneously. Sarah's instinct screamed at her to help him, but she had just thrown the vase. Could she do more? The newcomer charged forward, pushing through the chaos. He moved with precision, swiftly sidestepping blows while expertly disarming one of the assailants. With a powerful lunge, he sent the man crashing to the ground, leaving Thompson gasping in awe. "What are you waiting for?" he yelled at Sarah. "We need to push them back." Nodding, Sarah tightened her grip around the heavy glass shards still littering the floor. A fleeting glimpse shared with Lily reminded her of what was truly at stake. She wasn't just fighting for herself anymore, she was fighting for her daughter, for their home, for hope. She seized another shard and threw it towards a nearby intruder. The piece of glass grazed the man's shoulder, startling him, and in that fraction of a second, Thompson lunged, delivering a deft blow that sent his opponent sprawling. "Watch out!" the newcomer warned, as an attacker charged toward Sarah from behind. Her heart thundered in her chest, but she spun, instinctively swinging her makeshift weapon. The shard caught the man off guard, cutting a path to safety. "Good job!" shouted Thompson. But there was no time to celebrate. The fight was far from over. The remaining intruders regrouped, their faces twisted in determination as they rushed forward again, emboldened by their numbers. "Stick together," the newcomer ordered. "We can outmaneuver them. Use the kitchen, get behind the counters." Sarah felt a surge of adrenaline. They could win this. She glanced at Thompson, who was regaining his composure, breathing heavily but ready to fight once more. They needed a plan. As they retreated toward the kitchen, Sarah spotted Lily still huddled behind the counter. "Stay down," she yelled. It was less a command now and more a plea. She couldn't let Lily grow up in a world where fear ruled. Just then, the lead intruder yelled, "You think you can run? This is far from over." He charged after them, a wild look in his eyes. In that moment, everything twisted in Sarah's mind. This wasn't just about survival, it was about reclaiming their lives. She couldn't allow fear to dictate their paths any longer. "Thompson!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. "If we distract them, can you flank around?" "I can try," he replied, his gaze sharp. "On three, then." 1, 2. Before she could finish, the forces converged, and chaos erupted again. This time, Sarah couldn't wait any longer. She turned to face the lead intruder, determination flowing through her veins like fire. As she took a deep breath, ready to confront the man that seemed untouchable, a sudden sharp noise cut through the commotion, an explosion, loud and violent. The floor shook beneath them, throwing Sarah off balance. Everything went dark around her for a moment. Was it the end? Or the beginning of something even more terrifying? As the dust settled, confusion racked Sarah's mind. She strained to see through the haze, chasing the fragments of her racing thoughts. Had they been overwhelmed? Or was this the moment that changed everything? In the silence that followed, a single question lingered in the air: was this a chance for salvation or the final blow that would break them all? The world around Sarah began to crystallize again, the dark haze lifting slowly as reality crept back in. Her heart raced, pounding against her ribcage as she pushed herself up from the floor. The pungent smell of smoke invaded her nostrils, reminding her of the chaos that had erupted. She blinked, trying to clear her vision and focus on the scene in front of her. Thompson lay on the ground, wincing as he covered a cut on his arm, but otherwise alert. The mysterious man in the dark suit was already on his feet, shaking dust from his clothing, scanning the room with a calculated look. To Sarah's left, the shadowy figures of the intruders were momentarily disoriented, taken aback by the explosion. "Thompson!" she shouted, panic surging again. "Are you okay?" "Just bruised. We need to move." He locked eyes with her, the urgency in his gaze electrifying. She nodded, tears welling up for a split second before determination clutched her heart. She couldn't break now. The lead intruder, now more furious than before, spat out curses and rushed towards them, rallying the others to follow. The newcomer surged into action, tackling the nearest assailant as tough blows rained down on both sides. "Get behind me!" he barked, and without thinking, Sarah pushed Thompson aside and moved in closer to Lily, who remained frozen behind the counter. "Lily, listen. You have to get to the back, find my phone, and call for help." "But Mom..." Lily's eyes were wide, fear rising like a tide. "Please!" Sarah screamed, the words crashing out of her like a wall. For a moment, she felt helpless, lost in the storm of fighting and anger around her. But time was slipping away, and every second felt like an eternity. As Lily crawled toward the back of the kitchen, Sarah's heart ached. She wanted to comfort her daughter, to shield her from this nightmare. But right now, there was no time for gentle hugs. It was about survival. "Stay low. Keep moving," she yelled over the rising uproar. The stamping of heavy boots echoed against the tiled floor. Thompson had started to circle, darting with the precision of a panther while Sarah held her ground, glass shard glimmering like a weapon forged in fire. The adrenaline wrapped around her like a warm blanket, pushing aside her dark thoughts and fears, granting her clarity. The intruders, still regaining their footing, surged forward again, emboldened by their numbers. The man in the dark suit fought valiantly at the front, one brawler down already, swinging with awesome strength. But the odds were still against them. "Now!" the man commanded, capitalizing on a narrow gap. "Distract them and move while you can." With renewed focus, Sarah grabbed a handful of debris from the floor and hurled it toward the nearest attacker. Shards of glass and chunks of broken furniture soared into the air, catching a few of the men off guard and buying precious moments. "Let us go, Thompson," she called, urgency and fear weaving through her once more. He nodded and rushed to join her side as they moved toward the back, adrenaline pounding through their veins, fearing they might not make it in time. Then, through the chaos, Sarah spotted something in the corner, the emergency exit. "Over there!" she shouted, her voice almost lost in the commotion. As they sprinted toward it, another explosion echoed, rattling the walls and knocking a few of the intruders off balance once again. Sarah's heart ached with the weight of desperation and determination. Maybe they could escape this, but then, from the corner of her eye, she spotted Lily, frozen in fear at their previous spot. The realization hit her like a freight train. The stakes had just escalated higher than before. "Lily!" she screamed, panic-stricken. A moment of hesitation danced as Sarah prepared to turn back. Could they make it? Could she risk it all for one more chance to save her daughter? The intruders were regrouping, their resolve solidifying, while darkness crept in around the edges of her long-fought hope. With every heartbeat, Sarah felt uncertainty gnawing at her. If she ran back for Lily, could they both escape together? Breathless, she reached a decision, her gut clenching. "Get to the exit, Thompson!" she shouted as she pivoted back toward her daughter. "I'll get her." And with that, she charged back into the fire, determined to shield her daughter against any danger that dared to come their way. But as Sarah dove between the chaos and confusion, a familiar face appeared in the shadows, a figure standing like a guardian angel. It was an unexpected twist that could change everything once again. Would they risk it all for the ones they love or fall into darkness? A glimmer of hope sparked within Sarah as the familiar face emerged from the shadows. It was Mr. Thompson, his presence radiating strength and determination. "Sarah! Get Lily!" he commanded, his voice cutting through the chaos with authority. She felt the energy shift. She wasn't alone anymore. With renewed vigor, Sarah pushed forward, heart pounding as she frantically searched for her daughter. The panic in the air mingled with adrenaline, guiding her every move. She spotted Lily, still huddled behind the kitchen counter, eyes wide with terror. "Mommy!" the little girl cried, relief flooding her voice. "I'm here, sweetheart. Just hold on." Heart racing, Sarah sprinted towards her, her instincts kicking in. She scooped Lily into her arms, clutching the child against her with fierce love. "It's okay, we're going to be okay." The fight raged around them, but the moment felt suspended in time. Sarah's focus shifted completely to Lily, who so desperately needed her. In that protective embrace, the world shrank down to just them. Her fierce love was a light pushing back against the darkness. "Lily, we have to run," she urged, glancing over her shoulder at the chaos unfolding behind them. The intruders were regrouping, more determined than ever. "No, Mommy, I'm scared," the little girl whimpered, clutching onto her mother with all of her strength. "I know, baby. But we have to be brave," Sarah whispered, her heart aching as she felt Lily's tiny breaths against her cheek. In that moment, she understood the weight of their connection. It was time to fight, not just for survival, but for the future they both deserved. Mr. Thompson rushed to their side, his eyes fierce and unwavering. "This way, we can make it to the back door." He led them with urgency, pushing past debris and the echoes of chaos swirling around them. As they approached the emergency exit, just a few feet away, Sarah's breath quickened. But the lead intruder blocked their path, fierce and unrelenting. "Not so fast," he growled, freezing them in their tracks. "Leave us alone," Sarah shouted, emboldened by the love for her daughter. "Mommy, I can't," Lily cried. But Sarah stood tall, clutching the remnants of her shattered world. "You're not going to hurt my family," she yelled back, finding the strength buried deep within. In that moment, sharing an understanding with Mr. Thompson, a plan forged in desperation took shape. "We create a distraction," he whispered fiercely, eyes darting around. "Then we go together." Sarah nodded, determination igniting a fire in her bones. "Okay. On three," he said, and they both positioned themselves behind Lily, ready to act. 1, 2, 3. They launched into action as Sarah hurled a kitchen utensil and Mr. Thompson shouted, "Look out! The knife!" The intruder turned, momentarily caught off guard. With their distraction, Sarah and Lily raced towards the door, entwined in an unbreakable bond. The world blurred around them, culminating in the urgency to escape. But one final intruder barreled in, attempting to block their way. In a fierce moment of clarity, Sarah swung the knife she had held tightly and struck the intruder's arm. He yelped, eyes wide as she pushed through the opening, her heart pounding like a drum. "Run!" Mr. Thompson shouted, urgency unraveling the last cords of fear. They burst through the door into the cool evening air, leaving behind the chaos of their once familiar lives. Outside, everything felt different, the sky painted in shades of twilight and hope. They raced down the street, adrenaline fueling every step as they finally halted, breathless and panting. "Are we safe?" Lily asked timidly, looking around with cautious eyes. "Yes, sweet girl. We're safe," Sarah breathed, pulling her daughter close in a protective embrace. "Thank you, Mr. Thompson," she said, turning to find the old man standing tall beside them, a proud smile etched across his features. "It was your courage that saved you both," he replied, the warmth in his voice soothing Sarah's frantic heart. "You two are something special." In that moment, something within Sarah shifted. Profoundly. She felt different, empowered by love, resolute in her determination to stand firm against life's tempests. Mr. Thompson's faith in her ignited a spark, and their shared kindness had transformed into a fiery bond. Though their lives would never be the same, secrets loomed, and darkness lingered, they would face it together. Family, forged through trials, would become the light that guided their path forward. And as the sun sank lower, casting a golden glow around them, Sarah felt hopeful, realizing that it was the connections she'd built that would help them rise above the storm that once threatened to consume them. "Let us go home," she said, gripping Lily's hand tightly, and they began walking down the street towards their new beginning, stepping forward into the light of a fresh start. Now, as we reach the end of this incredible journey, take a moment and reflect on it. What does family mean to you? What steps will you take to stand against challenges? Don't forget, you need to subscribe now to ensure you never miss a story filled with transformation and hope. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help keep the good news spreading. Comment below your reactions, your feelings, and share your own inspirations with us. And don't wait not even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. Let us grow this family together. Your support matters.